No. I lost the phone. Well, I remember you're behind the plate.
Hey,
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. 69, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. We're on 69, Samech Tes. So if you can't divide, if someone is investing the money and the other person is doing the work, they can't divide the profits 50-50 because the guy who's doing the work is not getting paid. So if it's not 50-50, like if he accepts 50% of the losses, he can get 2/3 of the profits because that'll make up for what he has to be paid for doing the work. I said over this sugi in front of Rav Narda. How do you know that Rav Ilish wasn't dipping his bread in the dips that with the guy who was doing the work for him. And according to Rav Yehuda, that was enough. Amar Rav Nachman, Allah Rav Yehuda, Amar Le, Lav Yilchus Itmar. Yeah, but the halacha is not like him. But he mentioned that there's a shita like Rav Yehuda, Chidami Mistavra. That makes sense. Dilo Tema'achi, Lama Le Lemichshav Lomemer Halacha Halacha. Why did he have to say halacha like him, halacha like him, halacha like him? Lema, halacha Rav Yehuda, the Mekel Mekulu. But he didn't say that. So it must be the halacha is not like him. Amarov. So a person's going to say to his friend, I'm going to give you a calf to fatten. And then when we sell it, we'll divide the profits. Umoiser shlish. If the price of the calf will be more than a third what its value is now, so anything above that will be your payment for the fact that you're doing the work. Ushmul Amar lo matzah moiser shlish. Yelach lebeser reikon. The problem is, let's say it only increased in value by a fourth. Then the guy who's fattening the calf's not getting paid. Then there's going to be ribbis, because the work he's doing is as if he's not. He's an unpaid worker, and that benefit that the guy who's giving the calf is like ribbis. Amar Shmuel koitzes for dinner. They have to set a certain price regarding his work. And then above that, they can divide. So, Savar Rav ain't koitzes lo dinner? Does Rav not agree with that? V'amar Rav, reish egel lepetuma. There used to be a custom that besides what they would divide, the guy who fattened the calf would get the head. The head had very choice parts, had the cheeks, had the lips, had the tongue. These were desired pieces of meat. So he got extra as payment. My love, the Amar Lei Moiser Shlish B'Scharcha. Isn't it similar to saying that? Lo. Rav the Amar Lei Moiser Shlish, if he, again, it was tied to a minimum profit. If it's more than a third, Iresh Egel Petuma, then I will give you the head. That you're allowed to do that kind of arrangement. If the guy who's fattening the calf has another cow besides the one he's accepting to work on. The Amri Inshi, Gvilatori. Listen, it's like a bus, whether it's got 20 people in it or 40 people in it, the bus has to go the same direction. Meaning, having to feed one animal is the same as feeding multiple animals. He has to feed the animal anyways. It's not a big tircha. So then it's allowed to be done, because then it's not considered like he's doing extra work. Rav Elazar Magrunya Zavin Behema, V'yarv Larise Mefatim Le, V'yarv Reisha Ba'agre, V'yav Pavagarach Revacha. He would buy an animal, give it to his sharecropper to fatten. He would give the head as the schar, and they would divide the profits. Armalei Dvisu, the wife of the sharecropper told her husband, if you would be a partner with him and buy the animal, he would give you the tail as well. And the sharecropper did that. Ozel Zavin Badeh. Next time they went and bought the animal together, B'shutfus. And Polyglade, Malisa, and they divided the tail. The tail was also, I guess, considered a good part. Oxtail stew, right? The tail is considered a good part. So Armalei to niflagil reisha. So Rabbi Elazar said, let's divide the head too, because we're partners. Amar hashla kimikar namilo. I understand. Initially, when it was just a loan, you didn't let me eat the head. only when I was fatter, when you gave me the calf. Now I'm only going to get half of it. So he said, yeah, everything was mine. I gave you the calf. You had no money in the game. Therefore, if I wouldn't have given you something extra like the head, it would have looked like ribbis. We are partners. I'm not loaning you any money. My kamer trachtet tvei porta. You say that you're working a little extra to bring the animal in and out of pasture. A regular sharecropper is mishabit himself to the owner of the land to bring the sheep in. So we're regular partners, and we'll divide everything equally. Ton Rabbana. Hasham be'em l'chaver. If you make an estimation of the value of a behema, because you want your neighbor to raise it, and then you'll divide it, the profits, with him getting paid for the work. Ad masachad l'tapel bo. If they didn't come to an agreement how old the animal is going to be before they sell it, what would be considered standard? Sumchus Omar, by donkeys, it's 18 months. The goydres by sheep, 24 months. And the imba lachloit b'sochs mano, if any of the parties want to sell it off before that time and divide, the other partner, chaver makiv, can stop him. They have to wait to the full time. Each year is separate. So what does that mean? There's a little bit of different type of work first year and second year. And therefore, they don't divide it exactly in half over time. Tanya Idech. If you do this estimation of the value, if they have children, if the behema has children, how long do they have to work with the children before they sell it? A small animal like sheep and goats, shloshim yom. Begasa, big animal like a cow, chamishim yom. Rabbi Yossi Bedaka shlosh chadoshim, small animal 3 months. Mipnei shetipulim meruba, because it's very hard to work them. My tipulim meruba, what does that mean? Mipnei sheshineh dakois, its teeth are very small, so you have to cut the food into very small pieces for it to eat. A big animal doesn't have that problem. After that time, noitel mechzi, they can split up the children between them. Shalom. And half of it, chatzi mechza b'shel chaveru, because of the work that he did. Rav Menashe bar Gada accepted to raise an animal, and the children, mechza shalom v'chatzi mechza b'shel chaveru. They divided half and half the children. Asla kamed abaya. Armalei man palig. Who told you to divide it like this? You did it on your own account, and that's not acceptable. You have to divide it with your partner. This was a place which a custom that the guy who's fattening the animal would raise the children. And they shouldn't divide up until a certain period of time. There were two shomranim. They made a partnership agreement. And I guess they sold their business, and he took half the money, and his partner didn't know. Took him to Bezdin. Who lost money here? Zuzi commanded Polik Domi. If it's just money, it's already divided. It's not like one thing, so it's not a problem. Lishana, next year, Zavin Chamer Badadari. They bought wine, and Kamidich Polik he also divided the wine without his friend. Again, also Commander of Papa. Who gave you permission to do this? Omar, so the Kusi said, Kachazina the Basar Didi Kosimar. You didn't have a problem with me dividing the money last year. So I thought this doing the same thing this year. But when it comes to real items, not money, like wine or something, that you have to divide with your partner there. Why? Listen, money is money. So he's not going to give you the good pieces and the bad pieces, right? Amalei lo. But some wine is tasty, some wine is not tasty. So you have to make sure to divide so each one of you can taste. So it won't be an unfair division. Gufa. When you do a deal with money, you don't have to divide it together. They can eat the person can take half of his money without the other guy. That's if all the money's new or all the money's old. But you have new and old, then low, because one guy will take all the good money, the other guy will take all the bad. Rav Chama v'moger Zuzi b'pshita b'yomi. He would rent certain coins for the eighth of the dinner. If the guy was going to use a dinner that day, maybe he had to show money. He was like renting money. Not like maybe he was going to use it for weights or he was going to use it for show, but he was not going to use it for money. Kalu Zuzi to Rav Chama, but Rav Chama lost all of his money. As a punishment, it looked like he was loaning beribis. Now, what did he think? Husara Maishna Mimara. Why is this any different than when you give the animal, like when we talked about giving an animal and raising it, where you can rent it out and get a reward? Why shouldn't you be able to rent out money? Velo imara hadr be'enev yada pischei. I'm sorry, ma'adir is a rake. You can rent out a shovel or a rake and charge for that. Well, why can you do that? Because you get it back exactly what you get, what was given.
Yeah, but in this case, aren't the coins coming back exactly as they were? Just like the rake? I don't understand the difference.
Says he's not going to return them with the same coin. He rented them like silver dollars.
Yeah.
Then he gave him back, but he didn't give him back the same silver dollar.
Right? Got it. Yeah.
Zuzi lo hadri beinai. The same money is not being given back. The lawyer do a pchi, and there could be devaluation. So it looks too much like ribbis. Amarava. Shari leili inish lemeimer lechavri. A person's allowed to say to his friend, Hilich arba zuzi v'usvi leplanya zuzi. Take these $4 and loan it to Chaim Yankel. Even though he's going to get more back. But ribbis is only usher 1-to-1. If there's a third party involved, it's not usher. Not if there's a third party involved. Person can say to his friend, take these money and tell Chaim Yankel to loan me money. My time is I paid like a broker fee. It's the payment for this guy. Maybe he knew the guy, and it's like a connection fee. Kihada Avabar married the Rav Papa, the son of Rav Papa, V'shakal Ugna Dekira Mikiroi. He would take some wax. The Amarle Lavua was Pinuzuzi. He would say to his father, loan them money. So he get paid off for being a broker. Amarle Rabban Rav Papa. Ochel Brei Demar Ravisa. They didn't like your son is causing you to take ribbis. This wax that he's getting is like payment of ribbis for the fact that a loan was done. Armlo koki hai revisa nechel. This kind of ribbis you're allowed to eat. Mutter legamri. Lo asratar l'ribis abami lo v'lemalve. Hacha schar amir kashakel. He's just getting reward for speaking to another guy to give me a loan, and that's permitted. Mishnah. Shamin para v'chamor v'chol davar shu oisav oichel lemechza. The owner of the chamor is going to give it to a person to feed it, to fatten it up. The one who's getting the animal will benefit from the work that it's doing. Therefore, they can divide the value of the animal if it grows or it's vladois, because he's getting some payment. Otherwise, if he wasn't paid for the work he's doing, it would be ribbis. But he's getting the work of the animal. It was local custom, places where they divided the children right away. Some say they would raise them for 90 days or 3 months. The valuation was done, the calf with its mother, the sheep with its mother. You don't separately calculate the expenses of the small animal. The new halacha, mafris al sadeyu. You can add to the price of the field in certain situations, and there's no ribbis. Don Rabbanon. Mafris al sadeyu v'nechoshesh mishum riz. What's this? Ketza. Hasoichres hasod mechaver. You rent a field from your neighbor, and the deal is you have to pay him asar kurim chitin lashana. You have to pay him 10 bushels of wheat for the year. The Omer lo, the one who's renting it, tells the guy who rented it to him, Tainli Masayim Zuz, loan me $200 for Nasena, and I'll invest in the field to fertilize it, to irrigate it, and then Vanila Chashneim Asar Kurim Lashana. And then I'll pay you back 12 bushels, not 10, mutter. This $200 investment is sort of it's not a loan. It's an investment combination between the owner and the worker in improvement of the field, and it's not ribbis. But avalein mafris lo chanut lo sfina. Rashi, Shim Schar Sachar Mimenu Chanus Osfina. You're renting a business. You're renting a grocery store or a boat. Osir Lilvo Semenu Mos. You can't borrow money from that same guy. Liknos Peres Velim Korbachanut. Let's say you want to buy schoira to sell, or prakamatya, or merchandise to put on the boat. Loholich Besfina V'yalim Lo. And it'll sort of be combined with what he has to pay rent. He's not investing in the storefront itself. If he was painting it, building walls, or the boat, with that to be mashbiach, then it would work. So then, ein tosefet haschar b'shvil chanut usfina. Then it would look like a loan. Sometimes you could do this. Let's say you want to paint a nice painting on the walls of the market. Or a new sale. People will want to come into the store, do more business. There'll be more profit. It'll cost more money to rent out the boat. So it's not ribbis. So you mentioned Sfinasa, Amarav, Agra Upagra. When you rent a boat, you have to pay the rent and damages. The guy who's renting it out gets payment for the use of the boat, and I guess he gets a security deposit, whatever, if he breaks. You can't have both. If he receives rent, he shouldn't get payment for breakage. If he accepts upon himself to pay for damages, then he can't accept both. If the boat is in the achrayus of the one who's receiving it, and he pays rent, so then it's considered like ribis. Shasik Rav. He couldn't answer. Rav Sheshes, my time is Shasik Rav. Why was he quiet? Lo Shmili had the time, didn't he hear that Avol Bishamar Makabin Son Barzal Yisrael? You cannot accept goods to sell no matter what, even if they got lost or damaged, and to accept 50% of the profits, that would be considered ribis. You can do it from goyim. You can charge ribis to goyim. Like we said, you can give an animal to your neighbor to raise. Dinner. It's the value of it is 30 dinner if I don't return it to you. But I'll pay you. There's 25 sela in a regular dinner. He's giving him 30. I'll give you a sela b'chodesh to use it. Mutter. Why? Shlasa domim. It's not a loan. He was a loan because they set a specific price. So he's paying ribis on this loan of shloshim dinner. Amrav Sheshes, lo asa dami mechayim, not when the animal's alive. Elachar misa. He didn't accept the achrayus to pay him that value if the value dropped. He told him, I'm going to give you back either the cow itself or its price if it dies. So by a boat as well, you should be able to accept the schiris as well as the damages. On Rav Papa Hilchos Sfina Agro Pagro. He can charge the rent and he can collect the value of the damages. Okay, tomorrow we will learn at 6:45.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
6:40.